Hey there. In this episode, I'm going to talk about do, new, and you. Or, yeah, do, new, you. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. In case we haven't met yet, go and put hashtag pajama in the comments below so know it's the first time you're being exposed to the Pajama Grandma. Or me, the Pajama Grandma, in my bathrobe. Pretty much every morning I'm in my bathrobe, or pretty much sometimes the entire day. I think the worst is I don't think I've stayed in my pajamas the entire day, like all the hours of the day. But I think like 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe when I had to go out to dinner or something, is when I actually switched out of my robes and into clothes. Now, I have yoga pants on, and I actually am one of those people that gets up in the morning and puts on clean pajamas and clean robes because that is comfortable for me. And there's all kinds of reasons behind it, which I think I've shared and I'll share on another day, but that's not the topic of today's conversation. Today's conversation is all about what I'm doing, some lessons that I learned in the last couple of days, one yesterday and that I'm working on, to ask you for a little advice. I need a new word for the word challenged. I have been challenged to come up with a way of describing challenges without them being challenges. So I think that's pretty fun. I suppose I could stick it in the thesaurus and I could look it up. But I think it's more fun to ask you, what do you think is a better way of describing a challenge? And I'm talking about like online 5-day or 30-day challenges, not like obstacles and challenges and things that come up in our lives, because there's not a whole lot of things we can do to prevent those. They're just going to keep coming up. All we can do is determine and decide what our reaction to the things that happen around us is going to be. That's what we control. I used to be more of a control freak and think that I had to try to control everything and manage everything and be the boss of everything. And I think it kind of got beat into me that no matter how much I try to control and orchestrate things, it's not always going to work out 100% the way I planned. Things are just not going to work out that way. I'm not going to get all the jobs that I apply for. I'm not going to successfully run all the businesses I start. I'm not going to have all the relationships that I necessarily think that I want at the time. Although I do believe that everything works out exactly as it should, even though a lot of the times when we're going through something, it doesn't feel that way. So doing. Yesterday I messed up and I messed up a recording, so I have to redo an interview. And it was the first time that the lady's ever done a podcast interview, so she's excited to actually redo it. So we're going to be reshooting that tomorrow. I do it on Facebook Live, or actually I do it on Zoom. So we'll do it as a Zoom call, and I then take out that recording and I take the audio out, and that becomes my podcast episode. And then I can share the video in various places too. So it's just part of my publishing plan to get things out there and share more information with more people. And it was a wonderful interview. I'm super excited to interview her again. And she's going to be part of a summit that I'm putting on in January. So that is super exciting too. So what am I doing? I also have 2 other interviews today, which one I am being interviewed and the other I am interviewing. So those are always fun. I'm trying not to do interviews on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm trying to put all my interviews and things like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So my Thursdays and Fridays are freed up for coaching and then working on projects that I want to create for my online presence, for my business, as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. And I've learned a couple of really cool lessons this week. Number one, and I've said this before, but I didn't 100% do it. I about 50% did it, and 50% wasn't enough. I needed to 100% do it. And that is narrowing my focus, building my tribe of who I am ideally wanting to talk to instead of talking to everyone. I've noticed that I've made some changes in my messaging. I've actually lost followers, and I've lost people that were probably not a good fit for me anyway. They were in my general population of people, but as I've narrowed my focus, they've gone away. But I think that my message is hitting home more to the people that I want to talk to, the people that can relate to me, the people that should be attracted to me and I should be working with, not just shotgun approaching, trying to get everybody. And I've known that for a long time, and I've narrowed it down to about 50% of who I was talking to, but I never went that all in. This is who I'm talking to. And I was challenged yesterday by somebody by 2 people actually. So it's, when I hear it once, it's interesting. When I get the same message twice in a day, it means I need to act upon it. So, and of course that's a very general statement, but a the similar message from two very diverse, different people and situations, that means I need to pay attention to it. If it was just the same person telling me the same thing 10 times, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to it. I've had that happen too, days like that. Reminds me of my marriage. So I'm working on, it's a personal project that will come into my business life because it's part of me, and it's a part of me that I have been ignoring and stuffing down, but it's a part of me that I need to work through and move on to create what it is that I'm here to create, to do what I want to do. So I'm working on that today, and I was challenged by both of these people to write it out, write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what the situation is. And no one ever has to read it or see it, but just the act of writing it down allows it to become clearer, and it allows me to analyze the feelings and the thoughts about that situation. And not because I want to relive it, but because I want to let it go. I want to take this situation because it's still impacting me. If it weren't impacting me, and I know it's impacting me because I can see in the results that I'm getting that it is impacting me. So in order for it to not have a hold on me in any way, shape, or form, I need to let it go. And one of the fastest, easiest ways to let something go is to write about it. Physically get out a pen and paper and write about it. I've known this for a decade, but I don't always remember to do it. And it's hard for us to look at what's going on in our life and in any area of our life. Remember, it's not just finances or our businesses. It might be our relationships. It might be our spiritual life. It might be our physical health. And I write down things for my physical health all the time because I know I need to. I am one of those weird people that document everything I eat, everything I drink for the most part. I mean, water, I used to track water, but I don't anymore. I mean, once you get something to be a really good habit, you don't have to document and track it anymore. Now, government regulators would argue with you about that, and they would say, you need to track it forever. You need to write it down forever. You need to make sure that you're checking and writing down your freezer temp or your cooler temp every single day forever. Or how do we know that you're really doing it? Well, if you have a food business that depends on chilled and frozen food, you automatically come in and the first thing you do every single day is you look at the temperature on your cooler and your freezers and you make sure that they're working. Whether you write that down or not, you're going to make sure that they're working, because if they're not working, your business could take a huge hit in a very short amount of time. So I find government regulations very interesting, and documentation. And okay, this was my field for 25 years, so I'm not trashing it. I'm just saying, just because we don't write it down doesn't mean we don't do it. It might mean we might forget to do it, but there's certain things that we just will always do. We always brush our teeth every day, right? We don't need to document that we brushed our teeth every day. We're going to get up, we're going to brush our teeth, because I don't know about you, but I can't do anything until I brush my teeth first thing in the morning. It's my little wake up cue. As soon as I brush my teeth, I'm wide awake. I don't know why, it just works that way. So documenting things, documenting that, learning and writing things down is extremely powerful. I ask people all the time, do you have your goals written down? And I am amazed at most people don't. Almost most people don't. And my dad taught me this. And before he died a few years ago, one of the things that he was really clear about in his messaging to all of us, and especially the grandchildren, was write your goals down. You've got to write them down. They can't just be in your head. They have to be on paper. And I'm really proud to say that my son actually is a yellow pad guy, just like my dad was. And it makes me really happy when I see him walk around with his yellow pads and things written down, because there's so much power in writing things down. So doing that today, I actually started it last night, but I promised myself I would spend some time today, some personal time today, writing through that whole process so that I can let that go and move on in a couple areas of my life that I want different results in. Not necessarily better, just different things I want for myself and for my family and those I love and care about. And some things that have happened and choices that I made in the past and situations that I have been through, I have not ever processed. I just shoved them down and let them sit there and be there for a long, long time. And as I looked at something that I've been meaning to do and talking about for, years now, and I'm not making progress on it, or I'm making like such a turtle pace progress on it that it's painful for me to watch myself do it, much less other people to watch me do this. And it's definitely not my work life, right? But it's another area of my life that doesn't even matter. But it affects everything, because guess what? Even though I don't believe in balance and I think that's nonsense, I do know that we cannot totally ignore any aspect of our life and our personality forever without it sneaking up and rearing its head. So me not dealing with this aspect of my life is seeping into and impacting other areas of my life. And so it got my attention. And when something gets my attention, it means I need to do something about it. Now, have I known I need to do something about it for years? Absolutely. Have I chosen to make it a priority? No, I haven't. I've shoved it down and not paid attention to it. So today is the day I pay attention and we make massive changes, because as soon as we're aware of something, it's really easy to change it. So that's what I'm working on today. What did I say? I said do, new. I guess new is kind of the letting go thing. And I need a word for the word challenge. I'm doing a one funnel away challenge because I love challenges. I'm actually in the process of 3 different challenges right now. One is the one funnel away. One is a 365-day daily live challenge in a group of amazing people that committed at the beginning of April that we would do a Facebook Live every single day in the group for 365 days. Today is actually day 215. I haven't done that yet. That's my last video every morning, but I'll do that next. And 215 days in a row we've gone live in that group. And it's a good practice, and it's a good, safe environment to learn and practice and grow and try things. And I admit that I should probably really use that group to add more value. A lot of times now, since I'm just going live in the group, I just check in and share what I'm working on, which is, it's important to me, but probably nobody else cares about it. And if I'm continually improving, I know I need to get better at my messaging in terms of what's in it for my listener. But that begins with really defining and narrowing down who is my ideal listener. Who do I want my listener to be? And have I done the ideal client or the ideal customer avatar? Have I done a worksheet, and have I done that process dozens of times? Yes, but I continue, like so many other entrepreneurs, to go back to trying to do too many things at once. And it doesn't work. I mean, I totally believe in multitasking, because I think if women didn't multitask, the CCs would cease to exist. But I also know that you have to have a singular focus in certain aspects of your business in order to make it successful. And normally that is, I got to pick one business. I have to get it set up and automated and successfully running before I can pick and focus on another business. I learned that's part of what contributed to my sudden cardiac arrest was, I think we were running almost 10 businesses at the time that I dropped. And only one of them was giving me super duper stress and heartache. The rest of them were clicking along smoothly, but that one made it possible to just totally F up my life. So that's it. And so new, and I can't remember the other thing I said, but it doesn't even matter, because I have rambled along enough today. So anything I can help you with, if you've got any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and share them in the comments below, because this Sharon Horne-Ellstrom Pajama Grandma would love to know. And if I can help you in any way, or if there's something you'd like me to talk about, I would love to do that. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.